What? Where does it go? What's your price target for Bitcoin?
So I think in the short term, we're going to see one of two cases. The first case is we're going to have some sideways action between 110 and downwards to 80, and we'll see some chop. The second scenario, and that will come either in the short term or in the medium term, is once we have the Bitcoin Act, which is currently under consideration, passed, where the U.S. government will be buying Bitcoin into its reserves, as well as other countries and other corporates for their treasury assets as well, we could see a 500K Bitcoin or $1 million Bitcoin. Sky is really the limit here.
And why? What would drive it there?
So Bitcoin is inherently a scarce asset. You only have 21 million Bitcoins. And the Bitcoin Act, for example, proposes buying 200,000 Bitcoins a year, which would significantly drive up the price as there's a finite supply.
And what about use cases? I was talking about this with a guest on a previous show on Trading 360, just in terms of, President-elect Trump has talked about, the one rule of Bitcoin is you don't sell your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But do you expect more people to actually start using it in terms of an actual currency?
For sure. So I don't think that Bitcoin is inherently the type of currency that you buy a cup of coffee with. There are places where people do that. So for example, El Salvador, which I've written about extensively, they use the Lightning Network for those types of smaller transactions, but you don't necessarily need it for that. That's not the prime use case. The prime use case of Bitcoin is a store of value. So when we think about money, there's usually three characteristics that people ascribe to money, the economists ascribe to money, and that is method of exchange, unit of account, and store of value. So there's thousands of methods of exchange around the world. Every currency around the world is a method of exchange. Unit of account, however, there's only a handful. There's the dollar, there's the euro, there's the yen, and now there's Bitcoin. But when you talk about store of value, none of those things are considered stores of value because of their inflationary properties. So if you're a high net worth individual living in the US, you're not storing your value in a case of cash. You're storing your value in buildings, in businesses, in sports teams, in gold, and now in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is that similar type of property. It's just digital, which makes it that much easier to move, to sell, to trade, to transfer it across borders. So it's basically digital, it's property but improved.
And how much of a portfolio do you think should be allocated to cryptocurrency at this point? And has that changed now that we have a very pro-crypto president coming into office?
Absolutely. I think if you don't have at least 10% of your investment account in Bitcoin or Bitcoin-related assets, you're going to fall significantly behind.